everyone. This is how to drive your BMW. So the first thing you want to do, you want to start off. People ask, how do you do it? Do you let the car warm up by letting it sit? You idle the engine, maybe like 5 minutes and then you drive? Or do you get in and start driving right away? Simple answer, get in it, drive right away. You ready? Let's go. All right, here we go. My engine is cold. When I start the engine.
Parking mode off.
So you see here, all the gauges and oil temp is cold. The engine is revving up a little bit higher. So what I like to wait till the RPM settle, which is about maybe 30 seconds or so. Since it's a cold start. Right there. When RPMs drop, that tells me I'm ready to go. You don't have to do this, just my personal preference. So it's up to you if you want to do it. So then we're in drive, and then we go. And you just drive. Now the first, few miles, I take it easy. You can start driving it, be easy with the throttle. I keep everything kind of like in comfort. You just drive. What you're doing is you're letting everything kind of just, all the fluids, the oil temperature, the transmission temperature, all that stuff has to slowly rise. Okay, because these things provide lubricant for your engine. You want to make sure that they can maintain the life of your engine, your transmission. You don't want to just quickly, jump out there and floor it on cold fluids, simply because you could have that damage, that excess wear. Fluids work better when they're at optimal temperatures. A cold, thick syrup is not going to provide the lubrication your car needs, as opposed to something a little bit warmer. Okay, so you drive it easy. And you see just how I'm doing here. A few miles, the oil temperature is still cool. You see that there. All right. And I'm not driving super slow. I get the speed normally. Now, when I see my oil temperature start to rise after a few minutes, this is where I usually go ahead and switch over to sport. And you switch over to sport, it's fun time. This is what you start being a little bit more aggressive with the throttle, a little bit more acceleration. Now everything should be warm and up in temperature. Now, if you have some M cars, some of them have the moving red line, which gives you a great indicator of the water temperature and everything, and the oil is when it's good to start accelerating. All right, everyone, this is a true cold start on the M3. Garage open. Then you can see my red line has decreased a little bit because of the cold start. So the engine automatically tells me where my highest red point is. Now I'm not going to go up that high, but that's just a limitation that they do on the M's. So the RPMs drop. That's for me. And I just go ahead and go, and I start driving. Garage closed. And what I'm doing is I'm not letting the car idle, warm. And let me tell you why that is bad to let the car idle. Because the fluids in your car work better when they are warm. And the fastest way, the quickest way to get your car up to operating temperature is to drive it gently. So, let's get on the road. I drive it, and this is the fastest way to get the oil, the temperature, the transmission, the temperature, the water, everything up. If I were to do the other way and let it sit and idle, it's going to take a long time for the oil to reach temperature. It's going to take longer for the transmission to reach temperature. And the longer that it takes to reach temperature, that is more wear and tear on the engine itself. So think about that. The longer that it takes, the more wear and tear that is causing on your engine. So just get in it, drive, and you should be fine. Alright, after a couple miles, you can see my red line has reached its maximum at 7,500 RPMs, and I am probably 3 minutes. And I've let the car sit 3 minutes. I will still be waiting for the warm-up time. You see what I'm saying? And you switch up for sport, it's fun time. This is what you do. From this point, also driving your BMW, especially when it's warmed up, enjoy it. These cars need to see some high RPM. If you're sitting there and babying it and you're not, stepping on it every once in a while, you're not doing the car any favors. To help the longevity of your car, just drive it. Like, if I step on it like this, not being ridiculous, but just have a little fun. The car likes to be in the high RPM. Throw it into curves, have some fun. Take it to an autocross day if you want to really see the limits and see. You can really appreciate the engineering behind these when you take these cars to a closed course. But they are fun to toss in the curves, just accelerating, overtaking people. It's fun. If you're like, well, I better baby it because I want to make sure it lasts. And sure, you can. It's nothing wrong with that. But at least once a week or a day, whenever you have a chance, get out and open, step on it, enjoy it, and you'll really appreciate it. Because when you don't, especially these cars, they're built for high RPMs. They're built for seeing this stuff, and you can run into issues where carbon buildup on the pistons because it's not seen at high RPMs in the temperatures that it needs to burn off all of those deposits. All right, if you watched up to this point, you're still curious. You still want to know more things. So let's go more into depth about warming up your engine and how to drive your BMW. The way that it works. Now, most modern oils and fluids and things can't handle cold start with minimizing the wear and tear on the cold start. And the cold fluids for the differential, the transmission, things like that, can't handle those things. But what I'm trying to get at is you don't need to let the car sit there and idle for minutes at a time before you drive it. You don't have to keep it below 2,000 RPMs. Just get in it and drive it normally, and things warm up normally, and you'll have better protection. Now, the longer it sits, say for example, it's a cold winter day, and no remote start is a thing. You still have protection. It is not the best, but you have protection. And what I mean is, if you look here, this oil, you see there's a 5W40 weight, which means the numbers are the viscosity of the oils. There's two numbers. One is cold, and the other is when it gets warm. So your oil is thinner to help protect faster. But as you don't want a super thin oil as it heats up, because it's going to be too thin to maintain the lubrication for your engine and transmission. So by having the oil and the fluids thicken up a little bit, it provides that high temperature protection you need when you are pushing the car, for example, on a track day. It is better for that. Okay, you don't want it thin like water, because you're just going to overheat it to a point where it's just going to evaporate and it's going to be gone. Like I said, if it evaporates, right? Remember I said it's thinner. It helps when your engine's colder before it lubricates itself. It quickly reaches those tight clearances and things. But if you were to just take off, run it, and remember I said that the heat can cause that to evaporate. It can cause wear and tear. It's going to cause minor scoring in the pistons. That's going to increase, or if not cause, oil burning later down the road, because your oil is usually burning, right? So take care of your engine, take care of your car. What I don't advise is getting into it cold start and flooring it right away. That will cause damage to the engine long term. You won't notice anything right away, but you're gonna notice something later down the road. You're gonna have premature turbo failure, you know, because those bearings on the turbo also needs lubrication. All right, guys, if you enjoyed the video, if you want to see more videos like this, give me a comment, let me know. Thanks for watching.